On the same day, I posted the screenshot of our video conference on my Facebook account with the caption just telling her I cannot vote intelligently without her name on the ballot. Neither can go out and vote wisely unless the name Inday Sara Duterte Carpio appears as a candidate in the 2022 presidential race. 47.
Would you like to say something about why you are crying on this part of the affidavit?
Hindi naman, malungkot lang po. Malungkot lang po.
Malungkot. Okay, please proceed.
Madam Chair, can we allow the witness to please?
Honorable
witness-
Dumogan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can we allow the witness to please get his
Yes.
composure before he will continue?
Yes, we are temporarily suspending to give time to Mr. Madriaga to console himself. Maybe we can recognize first Attorney Terry Redon, Congressman Terry Redon, if he has other concerns about the affidavit. What's the pleasure of the Honorable Redon? Because it is on your motion, on your request that Mr. Madriaga is reading this affidavit that causes him to cry a lot.
I think we have to let him finish the affidavit, the reading of the supplemental affidavit until the very end, Madam Chair. And he should be allowed to proceed as soon as he has composed himself. Madam Chair.
May I proceed, Madam Chair?
Are you ready?
Opo, Madam Chair.
Okay, you may proceed, Mr. Madriaga.
47. Nevertheless, Sara proceeded to run as BBM's vice president under the Unity ticket. I continued assisting her campaign for vice president during campaign sorties. I served as advance party to municipalities, cities, provinces where Sara was scheduled to visit and campaign. In several of these campaign sorties, I personally joined Sara together with other members and volunteers of ISIP, which to us now refer to Inday Sara para sa ikalawang Pangulo. Photos of Sara and me in several campaign sorties are here to attach as Annex G to G-3. 48. During one of the activities of ISIP in Bataan, I got to know a group of farmers who were asking for assistance because of land grabbing incidents in their area. I tried assisting them and I discovered that the entity behind the land grabbing in First Bataan Maribelas Holdings Corporation. More than a year later, I informed Sara about this concern and she told me to bring the group to one of her residences in Metro Manila located at Serendra Bonifacio Global City, Taguig City. I asked the group of farmers to wait outside of Serendra as I went to talk to Sara. When I mentioned to Sara the First Bataan Maribelas Holdings Corporation is the one involved in the land grabbing incidents, she told me that she cannot do anything and that she will no longer meet with the group of farmers. Through ISIP, I also came to know Attorney Reynold Monsayak, who likewise provided valuable support to ISIP. In recognition of his efforts, ISIP awarded him a certificate of recognition and appreciation at Nomu Bashu, Thomas Morato, Quezon City. Attorney Monsayak was later appointed as the spokesperson of the Office of the Vice President. A copy of the certificate of recognition and appreciation dated June 29, 2022 is here to attach as Annex H. Number 51. The certification of recognition and appreciation was handed by Attorney Ryan to Attorney Monsayak at Nomu Bashu, Thomas Morato, Quezon City, where I was also present. A photo of Attorney Ryan handing the certification of recognition and appreciation to Attorney Monsayak is here to attach as Annex I. Election of Sara as Vice President and OBP confidential funds. Number 52. After the election of Sara as Vice President, she invited me to attend her inauguration at the San Pedro Square, Davao City on June 19, 2022. A photo of Sara and me during her inauguration in Davao City is here to attach as Annex J. A photo of an email thanking me for my attendance during her inauguration in Davao City is here to attach as Annex J-1. Number 53. I was then tasked to provide security intelligence work through the formation of Vice Presidential Security and Protection Group. During this time, I introduced and recommended Colonel Dennis Nolasco, one of my best students in the Presidential Security Group, to assist this matter. Number 54. Colonel Nolasco then tapped the services of Colonel Raymond Dante Lachica to head the BPSPG. Afterwards, I worked with both Colonels Nolasco and Lachica from July 2022 to April 2023 for tactical transport services, security of Sara and other VIPs, handing and conveying and highly confidential information, and the transportation of large amount of money to several persons as instructed by Sara. Money deliveries under the instruction of Sara. In the morning of December 20, 2022, Sara called me and she said, "Sir Ram, please coordinate with Colonel Nolasco. Meron tayong deliver sa San Pablo, Laguna, sa night strip, at sa Ombudsman." Sara added, "Bawi tayo sa kanila later." Later, I received a text message from her indicating the places of delivery, which include San Pablo, Laguna, night strip, Office of the Ombudsman, and the corresponding contact numbers. Number 56. Later that morning, Colonel Nolasco sent me a text message directing me to go to the DepEd Central Office in Pasig City, beside Ultra, at around 1:30 p.m. for the transport. Transport is a shorthand for delivery or transportation of large sums of money between Colonel Nolasco and me upon the instruction of Sara. After receiving the text message, I hurriedly prepared and went to the DepEd Central Office together with 4 other individuals: Richard Babagay, Arman Villanueva, a certain Chip, and a certain Ruel. Number 58. Richard and I were aboard my blue Toyota FJ Cruiser, while Arman, Ruel, Noel, and Chip came in Toyota Grandia with the sticker Inday Sara Champura Duterte attached to both sides of the van. Richard was driving my blue Toyota FJ Cruiser and Chip was driving the Toyota Grandia. A photo of the Toyota Grandia with the sticker Inday Sara Champura Duterte on both sides of the van is here to attach as Annex K. A photo of my blue FJ Cruiser is here to attach as Annex K-1. Number 59. As we parked my Toyota FJ Cruiser near the main entrance of DepEd, Colonel Nolasco appeared from the main entrance and approached our vehicle. I alighted to the vehicle to meet Colonel Nolasco, and we talked while we waited for the arrival of Colonel Lachica. He mentioned that they will also provide a red Mazda sedan, which will be used to deliver the money to the Office of the Ombudsman. At around past 3 or 4 p.m., 2 government vehicles with red plates entered the DepEd compound, and then Colonel Nolasco told me, "Ayan na, ayan na." Colonel Lachica appeared with a lady who I later learned to be Special Disbursement Officer Gina Acosta. Thereafter, 4 large dark bags were unloaded from the vehicles. 3 large dark bags and 1 lighter colored and relatively smaller bag. Colonel Nolasco told me that each bag contained around 30 million pesos to 35 million pesos. The 4 bags were brought to where Colonel Nolasco and I were standing, which was near my blue Toyota FJ. Afterwards, I signal Arman and Richard to load the same to our vehicles. The two large dark bags were placed in the Toyota Grandia, and one large dark bag and one lighter colored bag were placed in my blue FJ Cruiser. The bags loaded to the Toyota Grandia were to be delivered separately to San Pablo, Laguna, and Nomu, Bashu, Tomas Morato, Quezon City on the same day. The remaining bags, initially loaded to my blue FJ Cruiser, were immediately transferred to the red Mazda sedan prior to our departure from the DepEd compound and were to be delivered to the Ombudsman parking lot the following day. Then, the red Mazda sedan proceeded directly to my residence in Cainta, Rizal, and was driven by Renoel. Before leaving DepEd Central Office, Colonel Lolasco told me to get my share from the said bags, and he and Colonel Lachica have already taken theirs. Hence, I took 1 million pesos for myself from the lighter colored bag loaded to the red Mazda sedan. That's when I verified that the contents of the bags were bundles of cash in 1,000 denominations and packed in stacks of 1 million pesos, each tightly sealed in transparent plastic. We, Blue Toyota FJ Cruiser and Toyota Grandia, left DepEd Central Office past 5 p.m., heading to San Pablo, Laguna. As we approached Laguna, I called the contact number provided by Sarah, informing the designated recipient that we are on our way. However, I was directed to proceed to Cabuyao, Laguna instead. We arrived in Cabuyao, Laguna past 8 p.m. and were then instructed to proceed to an area inside the industrial park to meet individuals who were designated to receive the first bag for a politician in Laguna. As we approached the designated place, I can clearly see from our vantage point an SNR membership shopping establishment. Upon arrival, I immediately saw 3 persons standing in wait beside the dark sports utility vehicle. One of them proceeded to the Toyota Grandia and took one of the bags. We immediately left after the delivery of the first bag. 65. Thereafter, we proceeded to Nomu, Bashu, Tomas Morato, Quezon City, a comedy bar we call the Night Strip, frequented by SSC Law alumni including Attorney Ryan and Attorney Monsayak. 66. I am quite familiar with Nomu Bashu because I had previously visited it several times in relation to my work with Sara and ISIP Pilipinas. In fact, this is the same place where ISIP gave Attorney Monsayak a certification of recognition and appreciation. We arrived at Nomu Bashu around 12 midnight. I went inside the establishment with Arman, who was carrying the second bag. I immediately saw Attorney Monsayak, who was at the time in the middle of the place together with a woman and several men. When he saw me, he stood up and signaled for us to go upstairs. We then proceeded to the stairs leading to the second floor. Arman walked ahead of me while I followed him. Before I got to the second floor, I saw a man who came out of the room and received the bag from Arman. After that, we proceeded to exit the premises, and as I was passing near the table of Attorney Monsayak, I looked at him and he nodded. And we completed the delivery to Nomu Bashu. We stopped to eat around the area while eating. I told Arman and Richard to meet me at my house in Cainta, Rizal, later that day at 8 a.m. Number 70. At around 8 a.m. the same day, the team met in my residence at Cainta, Rizal before we traveled to the last location, OMB parking area. This time, however, we only used my blue Toyota FJ Cruiser and the red Mazda sedan. where the remaining 2 bags were previously placed. We left my residence at around 8:30 a.m. Richard was driving my blue Toyota FJ Cruiser, while Arman and another person, Noel, and he brought along were aboard the red Mazda sedan. '71. When we arrived, the guard gave a signal directing us to park in a specific area in the Ombudsman parking lot. We proceeded to the specific area and parked red Mazda sedan where the remaining 2 bags of money were placed. We left the keys on top of the left front of the wheel, which is our usual practice when delivering large amounts of money. 72. Previously and upon direct instructions of PRD, Sarah, I've also delivered money to Ombudsman Samuel Martires or Tony Ryan, which I usually place inside an open trunk of a designated car. Number 73. After completing the last delivery, we left the Ombudsman compound aboard my blue Toyota FJ Cruiser. A few years later, I read from several media reports that 125 million OBP confidential funds in 2022 were reportedly utilized in just 11 days. This is wrong because I personally disposed the money in less than 24 hours. Sarah attempt to visit me at Annex 2 BJMP Camp Bagong Diwa.
You can
Numbers-
drink some water, Mr.
Yes.
Madriaga.
Yes,
Drink some water.
Thank you po, sir. Tissue. May I proceed, Madam Chair po?
Feel free to start whenever you want.
Number 74. A few years later, I read from several media reports that the 125 million pesos OBP confidential funds in 2022 were reportedly utilized in just 11 days. This is wrong because I personally disposed the money in less than 24 hours. Sarah's attempt to visit me at Annex 2 BGMP Camp Bagong Diwa. Number 75. Sometime in October 2025, after I got arrested for alleged kidnapping, I was called by Jail Warden Jose Marie Sabiniano in his office. As I made my way to the office of Jail Warden Sabiniano, I was surprised to see Sarah through the metal railings of the passageway. She smiled and waved at me. Number 76. When I entered the office of the jail warden, Sabiniano, he asked me if I know Attorney Joyce. I replied, Joyce dapat, and jail warden Sabiniano handed me a phone. When I said hello, I recognized the voice of Sarah, and she asked me about my well-being and conditions inside the detention facility. She was also apologetic for failing to do something or assist in my ongoing criminal case. 77. Frankly, I felt bad and disappointed given that Attorney Harry Roque filed the case against me in retaliation after I tried to expose his land-grabbing activities in Marabeles, Bataan, together with his Philippine offshore gaming operator partners. As I previously mentioned, I was merely trying to assist the farmers of the said area who were supposed to be awarded of their certificate of land ownership awarded by the Department of Agrarian Reform, but fell victim to Attorney Harry Roque's activities. Attorney Roque and his POGO partners wanted to convert the said place into a POGO hub after he facilitated the transfer of at least 60 land titles to First Bataan Maribeles Holding Corporations. In fact, Danny Coral, President and Chief Executive Officers of First Bataan Maribeles Holding Corporations, is also an incorporator of Lucky South 1999 Outsourcing Incorporated and Lucky South 1999 Corporation, which were involved in POGO operations in Pampanga. Number 80, more importantly, I felt betrayed that despite all my efforts to support Sarah, to the extent of even committing high-risk acts for her and her family, she did not lift a finger to stop Harry Roque, who is her known ally and supporter, from filing the unfounded kidnapping case against me.